Jerusalem. The relationship between President Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has wavered between resentment and embrace since Netanyahu returned to power a year ago. Biden initially rejected traditional phone calls and White House visits express his long-standing hostility to Netanyahu's attempt to overhaul Israel's judiciary. However, after the October 7 Hamas attacks, he fully embraced the traumatized country, its war objectives, and its leader. Now, as Israel's devastating war in Gaza enters its third month, the suffering is returning again. In his strongest terms yet, Biden echoed growing criticism of the staggering collateral damage of Israel's military offensive against Hamas, more than 18,000 Gazans killed, and an unprecedented humanitarian collapse. Moreover, President personally criticized Netanyahu for indiscriminate ing that has eroded Israel's international support, and suggested that Prime Minister was indebted to most radical members of his right-wing government. Bibi has a tough decision to make, Biden said, referring to Netanyahu by his nickname at a fundraiser in Washington on Tuesday. Netanyahu responded with a quickly produced video, flatly rejecting one of President's own key proposals, revitalizing Palestinian Authority in West Bank to take over administration of Gaza after war. Netanyahu recently signaled his intention to keep Israeli troops in Gaza indefinitely. "I want make my position clear. I will not allow Israel repeat Oslo mistake," he said, referring the 1993 Oslo Accords that aimed create a historic roadmap towards peace between Israelis and Palestinians and granted limited permission Palestinians self-management. The agreement is hated by Israel's right wing. The debate was welcomed by Netanyahu's supporters, who have rejected any calls from Biden or other leaders to retreat from the military offensive on Gaza until Hamas is eliminated as a fighting force. Some of Netanyahu's more radical allies, including Public Security Minister Itamar Ben Gvir, have endorsed extreme calls for Israel to resettle Gaza indefinitely. Although Ben Gvir and his political partner and settlers leader, Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich, were removed from emergency war cabinet that made security decisions, two continued pressure Netanyahu to shift right. The two led an effort this week reject moves to allow Palestinian agricultural and construction workers in the West Bank enter Israel for the first time since October 7. Ben Gvir company and the newcomers do not want anything remotely approaching two-state solution. Critics accused Prime Minister of trying to bolster his base at the risk of straining relations with Israel's most critical ally at a key point in war. More than two-thirds of Israelis say they expect Netanyahu take responsibility for failure to prevent the attacks and step down when war is over. Israeli media is full of reports of divisions emerging within the Prime Minister's Likud party. Israel is